to my channel. So today I'm creating this makeup look for you. It's all using the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. I absolutely adore this palette. It's so good and you can create so many looks because there's like nice pinks and warm tones in there and then loads of foiled and textured shadows. So it's just an amazing palette. I wanted to create a look using this eyeshadow palette because I hadn't used it in ages. It's one of my favourites and I just think the colour range in it is absolutely beautiful. So if you do have this palette or if you don't have it, there is similar shadows available, but if you do have it, it's such a great palette just to throw in your bag and travel with because you have everything you need. So if you want to see how I created this look, then keep on watching. So the palette that I'm going to use today is the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Textured Eyeshadow. Absolutely stunning. You can see mine is well used. It's filthy and the shadows are all over the place. So I'm going to just zoom these in. So I just took my Select Cover Up from MAC Cosmetics and I applied that all over the lid. And the thing about Select is that you don't set it with a powder. Well, you can of course if you want, but I don't. So what I do is I just pat the product into the skin so it's nice and set. The shadow that I'm going to go in with is this one right here and it's called Shy, and I'm using a MAC 244 brush to apply that. So I'm just taking that Shy shade and I'm using this as a transition colour in the crease. So I'm just buffing that into the concealer that we applied using circular motions, and I'm going inwards and outwards. So starting from the outer corner and buffing it in towards my nose, and then when there's less product on the brush, I'm bringing it up towards the brow. What I like to do is go in with like a clean brush and just buff out the edges of the eyeshadow. So I'm using a Nima Nicola brush and I'm just buffing the edges. The second eyeshadow I'm going to go in with is this one right here and it's called Man Eater, and it's just an amazing like pinky like fuchsia red. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's such a beautiful colour. So I'm taking that on as a Weave 228 Luxe crease brush, applying that to the crease. So just, I actually forgot how much I love this palette. The colours are like amazing. So I'm really just concentrating that on the outer corner and working it with little amounts of product and just building it up, and it's just fab. So mainly blending on that inner corner until I'm happy with the colour payoff, and I'm starting to wing it out a little bit because I want it to be a little bit of a cat-eyed effect. And we're going to cut the crease a little bit, so don't be afraid of the colour on the lid or anything like that, but I'm just basing it where I want the most colour impact. So on that outer corner, I'm going to go back in with that Shy colour. I'm just going to dust that above the colour that we just put so that there's no harsh lines. So I'm going to go in with this shade right here and it's called Bossy. So I'm just after taking that Bossy shade just on the outer corner and then dusting it into the crease just to make it really dark and really intense. And now we're going to cut the crease. I'm going back in with my Select Cover Up concealer, and this is shade NW15. I'm using a MAC 252 brush, I think. There's literally no number left on this. So it's just a nice big flat brush. What I like to do is put it like on my lid, and then I like to like really close my eyes. Then you kind of have the mark of where you should cut your crease. So I just like to follow that guide. So I just press it first, and the less concealer the better because you have more control over your product. And I'm not doing a full cut crease. I think I'm just going to bring it in halfway. I think that's really flattering on the eye, especially with someone like me who has a hooded eye, so my lid kind of disappears. But when I have this done, it makes my lid look really big. And what I like to do on the edges, I just like to pat that concealer in. So I'm just after trying to get them as even as I could. Just take your time with it. So I just want to set that lid. You could go in with the shade Bay from the palette, which is this one right here, but it's very, very yellow and I don't want this look to have a yellow undertone to it, so I'm just going to go in with my RCMA no colour powder and just taking a teeny tiny bit. Just going to set the lid, so just mattify it so that the concealer doesn't budge on us. Just anywhere that we put the concealer, you're going to want to just pat and don't swipe where you're going to actually move the concealer. So it should look like this. My X Vivid Brights liquid liner, and this is in the shade Vivid Petal. I'm going to just take this on literally just the inner part of my eye. I'm just going to take this Colourpop gel liner, just a really dark burgundy shade. So I'm just going to wing out. So just drawing the line first and then going back on it. It's the liner there, but it's a little bit choppy, so I'm going to mix a little bit of oil in with the liner and hopefully that makes it a little bit smoother. Okay, so now that I've mixed that liner with a little bit of an oil, it's going on so much better. So I'm just doing the same on this side. Go in and I'm going to use my Studio Fix foundation from MAC. This is like my tried and tested. I just love it. It never does me wrong. Okay, so I've barely anything left in that foundation, so I'm just going to swirl it in. And I'm just going to apply that foundation using my beauty blender. And I'm just applying that all over the skin. I do like a beauty blender and I do like a brush, so it really just depends. Usually, like with a more full coverage foundation, I will use my beauty blender because it doesn't give as much coverage as a brush would. So I'm just blending that out. It always looks a bit orange when force goes on. I always bring a little bit just onto my ears as well. So I'm just blending that into the skin and then bringing it down the neck as well. And then I have a few little breakouts on my chin, so I'm just going to go over them a little bit extra. So now that the foundation is done, I'm going to go in with concealer. Concealer that I absolutely love lately is the Naked Skin concealer. It's in like 3 stripes. One down the center of the nose, so making sure you get a nice and straight. The Cupid's bow. Just bring a little bit onto the chin as well. I'm just using the opposite side, so I did my foundation with this side, as you can see, orange. So I'm going to do the opposite side for concealer and I'm just buffing that out. Just backwards and forwards, and I find this stops your concealer from creasing. And what I like about doing your whole face with the sponge, I'm just switching back around to where the foundation is, or where I applied the foundation, and I'm going over the edges so that there's not a harsh line where the concealer and the foundation meets. And then switching back again to the concealer. I'm just going to blend out my chin and I'm going to blend out my Cupid's bow. And then I'm going to start blending out my nose as well. Okay, so before I go in and powder, I'm going to use my iconic London illuminating drops. And what I like to do, a little drop between my 2 fingers, and I like to apply them like to the apples of my cheek, like the highest point, but like at the front, and then I'll blend them in with my fingers, or sometimes I'll just use the bum of my beauty blender to blend them in. Looks like a ghost, but it's the windows open. Blend them in. You can see the glow it gives. I'm just going to use the back of my beauty blender now. I just wanted to blend in nicely with the skin. Same on the other side. So just taking that RCMA no colour powder again, I'm just dipping my brush in and then dusting off the excess. In the salon I had like a spare loose powder container and I just popped the powder into that, and it's so much better. But I need to do it for at home as well because I am sick and tired of like that packaging. It is shocking, but like it's such good quality powder that like you don't mind. So I'm just putting it anywhere that I usually get oily. Ghost. So I'm going to use my Huda bronzer by Benefit. This is actually just a travel size one that I have. And it's lasted me ages, like so long. I got it in a set like, but it's really good. So just starting to bronze up that face. I kind of like to twist my brush up at the end rather than drag it down, because I think it ages the face if you drag it down. My forehead as well, just nice natural dusting and bringing it down. And the same on the other side. And then whatever is left over, I like to just like dust it down the sides of my nose and underneath. And just keep blending, and then I like to just bring it down my neck as well. And that's the bronzer done. So the fourth shade I'm going to go in with is this Shy shade again, and I'm just going to apply that under the eye. So going back in with the shade Man Eater, this one right here, on a Zoeva 231 brush, and then applying it underneath the eye as well. My neighbours scarlet for me. I'm just talking to myself in a big ring light. And I have the blinds pulled right up so that I have loads of light, but now they just think I'm crazy. Taking the shade Bossy, so this one right here. So just taking that shade Bossy under the eye, and then blending it out again with the Force brush that we used. So taking that gel liner again, I'm going to put it into my waterline. So I'm just applying that into my waterline. So I'm just going to apply some mascara and lashes off camera, and I'll be back. So the lashes that I use are Tokio lashes, and they're the style Miss L, and they're so nice and fluffy. I absolutely love them. So what I'm going to do now is the lips, and I was going to do a kind of pinky toned lip, but I think it might be a bit much. So I'm going to go in with my favourite lip liner ever. It's Striodown from MAC, and I'm just going to line my lips. I'm going to take an NYX butter gloss, and this is the shade Fortune Cookie. She knows it, she knows. I love how glossy them butter glosses are. So that's the finished look. I'm just gonna fix my hair. I was gonna leave my hair down, but so this is the finished look here. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please subscribe and like this video. It is on the dramatic side of the scale, but I think it's so wearable and it's fab for like a night out, especially with the nude lip, it tones it down. But this colour is beautiful on green eyes, and because it's like pinks and reds and those kind of undertones. So I just love this palette so much, and I'm dying to get my hands on the new palette from Huda Beauty, because I love this one so much. Yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Bye.